The Northern Plain. The Northern Plain has been formed by the interplay of the three major river systems, namely the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra along with their tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. The deposition of alluvium in a vast basin lying at the foothills of the Himalaya over millions of years formed this fertile plain. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square km. The plain being about 2,400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad, is a densely populated physiographic division. With a rich soil cover combined with adequate water supply and favorable climate, it is agriculturally a productive part of India. The rivers coming from northern mountains are involved in depositional work. In the lower course, due to gentle slope, the velocity of the river decreases, which results in the formation of riverine islands. The rivers in their lower course split into numerous channels due to the deposition of silt. These channels are known as distributaries. The northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. The western part of the northern plain is referred to as the Punjab Plains. Formed by the Indus and its tributaries, the larger part of this plain lies in Pakistan. The Indus and its tributaries, the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Beas and the Satluj originate in the Himalaya. This section of the plain is dominated by the Doabs. The Ganga plain extends between Ghaggar and Teesta rivers. It is spread over North India in Haryana, Delhi, UP, Bihar, partly Jharkhand and West Bengal. In the east, particularly in Assam, lies the Brahmaputra plain. The northern plains are generally described as flat land with no variations in its relief. It is not true. These vast plains also have diverse relief features. According to the variations in relief features, the northern plains can be divided into 4 regions. The rivers, after descending from the mountains, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 kilometers in width lying parallel to the slopes of the Shivaliks. It is known as Bhabar. All the streams disappear in this Bhabar belt. South of this belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Tere. This was a thickly forested region full of wildlife. The forests have been cleared to create agricultural land and to settle migrants from Pakistan after partition. The largest part of the northern plain is formed of older alluvium. It lies above the floodplains of the rivers and presents a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bhangar. The soil in this region contains calcareous deposits, locally known as Kankar. The newer, younger deposits of the floodplains are called Khadar. They are renewed almost every year and so are fertile, thus, ideal for intensive agriculture. The Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau is a tableland composed of the old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land and thus, making it a part of the oldest landmass. The plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. This plateau consists of 2 broad divisions, namely, the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highlands. The Vindhyan range is bounded by the Satpura range on the south and the Aravalis on the northwest. The further westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan. The flow of the rivers draining this region, namely the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa and the Ken, is from southwest to northeast, thus indicating the slope. The Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrower in the east. The eastward extensions of this plateau are locally known as the Bundelkhand and Baghelkhand. The Chotanagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension, drained by the Damodar River. The Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. The Satpura range flanks its broad base in the north, while the Mahadev, the Kamur Hills and the Michael range form its eastern extensions. The Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. An extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast, locally known as the Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. It is separated by a fault from the Chotanagpur Plateau. 3 prominent hill ranges from the west to the east are the Garo, the Khasi and the Jansha Hills. The Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau respectively. Western Ghats lie parallel to the western coast. They are continuous and can be crossed through passes only. The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Their average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters as against 600 meters of the Eastern Ghats. The Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nigiris in the south. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular and dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. The Western Ghats cause orographic rain by facing the rain-bearing moist winds to rise along the western slopes of the Ghats. The Western Ghats are known by different local names. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south. The highest peaks include the Anaimudi, 2,695 meters, and the Doda Betta, 2,637 meters. Mahendragiri, 1,501 meters, is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Shevroy Hills and the Javdi Hills are located to the southeast of the Eastern Ghats. The famous hill stations of Odagamandalam, popularly known as Ooty and the Kodaikanal. One of the distinct features of the Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area known as Decian Trap. This is of volcanic origin, hence, the rocks are igneous. Actually, these rocks have denuded over time and are responsible for the formation of black soil. The Aravalli Hills lie on the western and northwestern margins of the Peninsular Plateau. These are highly eroded hills and are found as broken hills. They extend from Gujarat to Delhi in a southwest-northeast direction. Thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe the video.